We got some breaking news that broke about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago that Joe Flacco has officially been benched by the Cleveland Browns after losing to the Detroit Lions. It's crazy. You know, you beat the Packers and you think you got the whole world in front of you, and then you play the Detroit Lions. And so Dillon Gabriel, the draft pick from the most recent draft, is going to be starting this Sunday. And that's going to be interesting, because if you've watched any Cleveland Browns football this year, you'll know their defense pretty darn good. Yeah. Their offense pretty darn bad. But Judkins now for 2 weeks in a row.
Who did the Browns last beat? Wasn't the Lions?
I just said the Packers.
Who was their last victory against?
Yeah, it's Green Bay Packers. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just double checking.
Yep. 13-10. They scored all those points in the last 4 minutes of the game. So yeah, we haven't won. Since then. The Packers haven't won a game since the first week of football, because they played on Thursday. So it literally was Sunday where they beat the Lions, and Thursday they beat the Commanders, and then I have gone without seeing winning Packers football since really that second week of September. Yeah.
There's a lot of people in Wisconsin saying that the Browns might have the greatest defense of all time.
And then they play the Lions, so didn't look that great after that.
Yeah, I do want to talk about Dillon Gabriel getting the start there. It's a tough start for Dillon. He's got to go to London, right? He's got to go to London to get his first start. Nothing more American than that.
And Satan's already waiting for them there.
Yes, you got the Vikings with that Brian Flores defense, who we saw. Was it Bears Vikings? Was that week 1 or week 2?
Bears Vikings was week 1 Monday Night Football.
Okay, yeah, because I think the Manning cast had that on there, and Peyton Manning was confused by the Brian Flores defense.
Yes, because he was just like, they're doing things that I didn't expect them to do.
Yeah, he's like, I could have sworn they were in man, but they were in zone. They tricked me. Manning doesn't get tricked, or he's just getting old. I don't know. But we saw this coming. We knew it's the right move for the Browns.
Yeah.
Flacco's not giving them what they had hoped. And now you move on to your rookie. Obviously, you got Shedeur Sanders there. He's not going to start, but he's going to be a story this week. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. Dillon Gabriel, I think, is going into a very good situation for himself in terms of he's replacing Joe Flacco, who's been playing horribly.
Yeah, it hasn't been great.
No, I mean, he just hasn't been good.
Enough to beat the Packers, but...
Yeah, he just hasn't played well, hasn't been effective. He's got a guy behind him who's getting more attention than him and has since the draft.
Correct.
So he's just been under the radar. And I think in the preseason, we saw Dillon Gabriel do some nice things after a rough initial start there. But I think with that defense, with Quinshon Judkins looking decent, Gabriel can come in and he doesn't really have to do a lot, in my opinion, to feel like an upgrade for the Browns. For the first time in a while, and I'm going to be cautious here, Cleveland, you should have a little hope. A little hope in Dillon Gabriel. Maybe not week 1 or his week 1 against Minnesota, but I kind of like it. I'm kind of very cautiously optimistic about this move for the Browns, Tom.
If Jackson Dart can do it and beat the undefeated Chargers.
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said in Power Rankings.
Why not? Why not?
Well, fuck it. Just let's let it rip, baby.
Because you and I have been talking about Cleveland, and it's just like at some point, right? Like you drafted these guys, and Joe Flacco is not going to be your franchise guy, right? Like that. No. The sun has set on his time.
I mean, the Ravens realized that 6 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, like they didn't even want to give him that other contract when they won the Super Bowl. They were just like, oh, I guess we gotta. All right, here we go. But in terms of Dillon Gabriel, it just seems like it's evaluation time of let's see what we got. Let's see if the guy can give a spark to that offense at all, because it has looked pretty lackadaisical. And when you put up the turnovers that Flacco's committing to, the Cleveland Browns, we've been talking about them as a potential playoff team if they had even like an above average offense, right? Can get up because that defense is still pretty damn good. They're just getting gassed at the end. I feel like if you see what you got in Dillon Gabriel for a few weeks, see if he's the guy. And if he's not, then maybe you rock with Shedeur for a couple of weeks, because that's what the Cleveland Browns did, right? They drafted a couple of quarterbacks. This is the position that they find themselves in after trading for Deshaun Watson. That blew up in their face. And now it goes, all right, well, let's put somebody behind center and let's see if this thing goes.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Dylan. I think he can come in, run the ball effectively, give the backs a chance to establish some dominance in the trenches there for your line. And then quick passes, just get the ball out quickly, Dylan. And I think that's going to do the Browns a lot of favors.
Yeah.
So a couple weeks ago, there was a report from Adam Schefter that Shadooey Sandy said no to the Ravens. They wanted to draft him in the 5th round. He said, here's a bird for you stupid bird team. I don't want to come to play for your successful franchise. I'm going to roll the dice and see if Cleveland can draft me.
I think what does Sanders have against Sanders? Because as Perna's about to allude to, he could be starting right now for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. I don't think
Derrick Henry to be able to hand the ball off to
Sanders. I think Shedeur should have said yes to the Ravens. And 2 weeks ago when I made a video, I said, you know what? Lamar Jackson misses time sometimes.
You did.
Before they paid him, what did they use against Lamar? Oh, he can't stay healthy. Remember that BS, Tom? Can't stay healthy. I said, Shedeur going to the Ravens, there's a good chance he would start either by Lamar missing a little time or the Ravens blowing out teams. That's not happening now because we know. We're seeing a situation right now. Had Shedeur went to Baltimore, there's a chance he's getting the nod this week.
Yeah,
there's a chance. Now, a lot of people he wouldn't have gotten the backup gig in Baltimore. Maybe not. But what we know is he didn't do enough to impress Stefanski to get QB2. And it makes sense. They drafted Dylan ahead of him, so they were obviously higher on Dylan Gabriel. And I think Dylan does something much more effectively than Shedeur right now. And I think Dylan can just get rid of the ball quickly. Shadeur's thing has been holding on to the ball too long, probably not reading the field the way you want an NFL quarterback to do so. And the issue with that is he has a quarter of his father's athleticism in terms of escaping pressure and making plays that way. So I don't think the NFL has anything against Shedeur. I think we wanted there to be a conspiracy there. And I like him. I'm rooting for Shedeur as well.
Sure.
He was great for Colorado, but
chances are now we're probably going to see him at some point during this season, right? Unless Dylan Gabriel just goes crazy. Yeah. That is an insane stat. The Browns are now one starting QB away from having as many starters since 1999, 41, as the U.S. has had different presidents since the War of 1812, 42.
Will and I have been tracking this stat for a while now, Alex. Thank you for this is a Will Keys stat. I swear Will written that in so many times. We've said this a lot, but yeah. Dylan,
incredible.
41. Would Shedeur become 42? Possibly.
That's incredible. That is since 1999.
I'm rooting for Dylan, the short man.
Oh God. Oh, that's a good question. He's one of the first or few rookie QBs to start his first game outside the country. Ooh. Yeah. I mean, again, I think if you're Cleveland, obviously, you saw, as you just mentioned, Perna, in the draft process, they liked Dylan. I mean, they drafted him pretty darn early. So they liked him there, and then they let him compete in camp, and Dylan Gabriel won it out. So yeah, man, I would say it can't get much worse for that offense in terms of just you are at best, I think, treading water with Flacco, and you're just okay, this is just you're gonna get probably a whole bunch of meh, but sometimes you'll have some good plays, and that's about it. And considering we're heading into October, we're starting week 5, and the Browns have won one game. Oh, that sucks. It's against us. They won one game. Yeah, gotta find some kind of spark here. I mean, just give him time. Give him time. Give him a few weeks and see what you got.